So welcome everybody to this video about the South China Sea dispute. So first of all, I just want to make sure that everybody understands that this is just my point of view. And actually I'm quite nervous about doing this particular subject, but we'll try to work our way through every point that I want to make. So, like I say, this is just my point of view. I'm not being asked to do this video by anybody. It's just me, my point of view. The images that you do see in this video are not mine, I don't own the rights. So without further ado, let's try and whittle our way through the points. So, I do a lot of research into the South China Sea and see a lot of videos from both newish broadcasters that are on TV and the internet to news reporters that have been doing it a long time, and they all seem to sort of dance around the actual reason, well, the actual reason I believe, of all this trouble in the South China Sea. They get experts in on the news channels to explain certain points and go into depths and all that. And really, from my perspective and from what I've researched, all that isn't necessary, because it all boils down to one thing. So I'm going to go through the most common reasons that news reporters have reported on and say it's because of. But so the first reason is rights to fish. So the South China Sea holds 1/3 of the entire world's marine biodiversity. Obviously this makes it a very important area for, as an ecosystem. However, the fish stocks in the area are depleted. So you can't really have this as a reason to why the Chinese want it. Because why would anybody, whether they're a country, an individual, a group, go after something that is depleted? You wouldn't take your car, would you, to a petrol station that has no petrol? I know it's a bit of a weird comparison, but it makes a point, I think. So, that, I just, it all comes under one point, and I'll make that point when I've gone through all the reasons. So, oil and gas. The region has a proven oil reserves of around 7.7 billion barrels of oil. Natural gas reserves are estimated to be around 11 billion barrels. Right, so this isn't a new thing. The South China Sea has always been rich in natural gas and oil reserves. So these disputes and claims, although they've sort of always been there, well, in more recent times, within the last couple of years, they've got really intensified. So this isn't a reason really anyway, because if China's doing what it's doing because of oil and gas, they'd be doing it from like the start of when they was actually first able to do it, which they haven't been. Next one, shipping lane. So the Strait of Malacca is used by loads of countries, including India, Indonesia, China, Australia, and many others that are on the screen right now. Shipping lane isn't the reason, because if it was, from the start of when it was used at the shipping lane, you'd have disputes, which there hasn't been. If you go into the history of the South China Sea, there hasn't been. So, if the shipping lane wasn't reason, then there'd always be disputes, like I said, but it hasn't been the case. So, another reason these major news reporters say is territory. So, in my eyes, they're gaining territory, and it's not just because they can, and it's not for a non-military reason, as some news organisations are saying, and on some websites. So, what do all these reasons that these major newscasters fall under, these major news organisations? YouTube doesn't like us to swear when we're doing these videos, so I've just done that image. Obviously, it's a bull going to the toilet. I think you know what I'm classing these reasons as. And plus I use this image to make the subject a bit light-hearted, which it isn't. I know it's a very serious subject, but so this is why as I explained, that's why I think all these reasons fall under this particular image. It's just not. The only thing that makes actual sense is military. So, moving on, territory. So a little bit of history here. By May 1939, Japan had control over the South China Sea and all the islands, and they used them during World War II. But in 1951, they had to relinquish the control of the islands in the South China Sea. In the Treaty of San Francisco. Since then it's been up for grabs. There's also historical accounts that the French had control of some of the area during the 1930s. So really, the first records suggest that France had control. So that leads me to believe that really the French are the rightful owners. But that's another topic for a different video. Moving on, military. Like I say, everything falls under military. So the Chinese are building new aircraft carriers. They're trying to match the US Navy like for like. They're not going to. The US currently have 11 nuclear powered aircraft carriers. But China is trying to do it. Man-made islands. So this is more territory for the Chinese, but they're all military. So you cannot have territory as a legitimate non-military reason, as quite a lot of these news broadcasters are suggesting. It's just not. It doesn't add up. Everything that China does within the South China Sea is military. So this includes when nations such as the UK, as they are doing at the minute, declared that they're going to send their new aircraft carrier HMS Queen Elizabeth through the South China Sea purely for freedom of navigation, which is an act that every nation around the world can exercise to go through that piece of water. The Chinese made a statement saying, well, practically they were peed off, to put it in layman terms, they were peed off that such an operation was going to take place. Every time a military warship passes through the South China Sea, doing nothing wrong, all they're doing is doing freedom of navigation, the Chinese always pays close attention to it. All around their new military islands, they've got military equipment such as radar and that. So it's military. If you do your own research on this, like I have, I've just compiled it all into this PowerPoint and tried to make it as interesting but as informative as I could. It'll all point to military, because like if they wanted these man-made islands for more land to spread to accommodate their population, then they wouldn't do military airfields and such. So that's the South China Sea dispute by me. Love to hear your comments on the South China Sea dispute. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit the notification bell and subscribe to get more content like this. Thank you for watching.